High voltage charges oxygen molecules from the air we breathe negatively and positively with the help of an ionization tube. This highly energetic oxygen destroys pollutants. We call this process bipolar ionization. In an experiment with more than 100 people, we demonstrate not only its benefits, but also its harmlessness. Bipolar ionization is known to everyone in the form of a cleansing thunderstorm, and this is basically what bipolar ionization does. We reproduce this via devices using ionization tubes, where high voltage is then applied. The ionization is then active in the room air, where it inactivates viruses, bacteria, germs, molds, and unpleasant odors.
Der Versuch im Cavallo.
The experiment in the Cavallo. Why did we do that? There's been a lot of talk about bipolar ionization, unfortunately, accompanied by much misinformation too. There have also been many unqualified objections, so we just wanted to straighten out this issue.
Einfach mal aufräumen.
Bioclimatic employees install the system in the existing ventilation system. Ionization tubes, electronic controls, and all assemblies disappear into the ventilation ducts in just under an hour. Together with Leibniz University and the company Biotech, we carried out the test with scientific support. In the first instance, we made a so-called reference measurement to find out what is usually in the air inside the hall. A staff member of the Institute of Food Chemistry at Leibniz University prepares the reference measurement. The aim is to find out what conditions prevail before people influence the indoor air. Then we let in the 100 invited guests. The Cavallo is situated in the center of Hannover. The location has a floor space of 300 square meters with room for around 350 visitors at receptions. The room volume is 3,000 cubic meters. For the experiment, 100 people got together to stay in the room for the duration of 4 hours. The three of them will do a very elaborate air measurement here, and we hope that we'll be able to prove that we can produce clean, virus-free air with bipolar air ionization.
Dass wir Viren inaktivieren können.
We already proved last year that we can inactivate viruses, as was determined in a study in Brazil. It's now important for us to further prove that we can reduce viruses, germs, molds, and bad smells relatively quickly, while also demonstrating the absence of increased ozone levels with this process.
Natürlich ist es auch wichtig nachzuweisen, dass wir keine überhöhten Ozonwerte bei diesem Prozess haben.
Once the event's over, our scientific support will evaluate the results.
Die Ergebnisse auswerten.
That's what we want to check here, that the indoor air quality can remain very good during such an event as a result of ionization. The exciting thing here is that we're in a very large venue. It's precisely in such a location under real conditions of a celebration where we wish to see whether the technology has what it takes to keep the air quality effectively good or even improve it. What we've now done is let the composition of the air undergo transformation for 2 hours during the party without ionization. This then, as it were, is the value we started from to see whether the room air improves significantly when the ionization is switched on. We check this by analyzing the air samples we took in a GC mass spectrometer. That means we can detect the amount of substances and also which substances are actually involved. The second, enthralling question is whether or not substances are formed in the process that are perhaps associated with toxicological issues. After 4 hours, the experiment is finished and the hall empties. Shortly afterwards, the staff of the Institute of Food Chemistry begin to evaluate the data obtained.
Wir können jetzt schon sagen, all das, was wir
We can already say that what we expected ultimately happened.
Wir haben über 2,5
We conducted measurements for 2 or 2.5 hours and noticed that there was a continuous increase of pollutants in the room air.
von Schadstoffen in der Raumluft und haben dann
And then we switched on the ionization after 2.5 hours.
Dann konnte man verzeichnen.
We were then able to record how this increase in pollutants was stopped and even continuously reduced all this in the order of 90%. these pollutants were reduced by 90%.
% wurden diese Schadstoffe reduziert. Wir mussten natürlich auch in
We
verschiedenen
needed to measure the ozone content at various points. We were unable to detect anything because there was simply no ozone.
war einfach kein Ozon vorhanden war und eine ganz
A very important question was the issue of toxic byproducts. There too, we found nothing worth mentioning.
nichts Nennenswertes gefunden.
As a result, we can say that we've considerably improved the indoor air hygiene, while at the same time finding no substances in the indoor air that were hazardous to health.
Gesundheitsgefährdenden Stoffe in der Raumluft hatten.
The participants presented their results at a press conference in March 2022 at the Cavallo. Ionization inactivates viruses and germs in the air by up to 99.9%, proven to be effective even against SARS-CoV-2, a result to be proud of. Maybe briefly once more about the event. There were about 100 people continually occupying this over 5 hours. For half of the time, we carried out the measurements without the ionization being switched on. After that, the ionization was switched on and we looked at how the room air developed with the addition of the ionization. We were really pleased with the microbial counts, having witnessed a 90% reduction in bacteria. This is roughly equivalent to the requirements of an FFP2 mask.
FFP2-Maske